Hi, and welcome along to Transfer Daily, the show that takes a look at the players that have been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. And we're going to kick off with the one that's been going around all over the news outlets today, and it's all about William Carvalho and the statement that he's made saying that he dreams of playing in England. He's made it quite clear that, you know, this is the place where he wants to play. He wants to play in the Premier League. He's admitted that he's been linked with several clubs in the Premier League, which we know one of those is Arsenal, the other one's Manchester United. And he said, you know, basically my agent's taking care of that. My agent's looking into that. But my dream is to come and play in England. Now, the question is, can Arsenal make his dreams come true? Can Arsenal make his dreams come true? Can he make Arsenal's dreams come true by filling that void as a defensive midfielder, which has been a major problem for Arsenal over the seasons? And listen, he's going to cost about £25 million is what we're being told. We're being told that in some media outlets that Arsenal would like to pull this deal off within the next 2 weeks. That's what we're being told. That Arsenal have made him a top priority to sign. I don't know yet how true that is. You know, it's a really hard one because, first of all, what I'd like to find out is just how good is William Carvalho. £25 million for a 22-year-old defensive midfielder is a hell of a lot of money. That means that if he comes for that sort of price tag, he has to be exactly what Arsenal need. Now, it's that price tag, £25 million. That's like 10 million less than what we paid for Sanchez. We know what Arsene Wenger's like. We know he likes to get value for money. He's willing to pay big money, as we've seen recently with Ozil and with Alexis Sanchez, but he wants to know that for that money, he's getting a world-class player, or he's getting exactly what he needs. Now, is William Carvalho a world-class player? Definitely not. Not at this stage anyway. Potentially, yes, but not at this stage. As I said, I think on yesterday's show, I've spoken to Portuguese football experts who said, you know, he's good, but he's still very raw. Will he be the answer to Arsenal's problems? And I think that is the dilemma right now for Arsene Wenger, that he has to think about that. You know, yes, he knows that Carvalho would love to come. He knows that, you know, Carvalho, he'd have a good chance of signing Carvalho, because let's face it, any player right now is looking at it and thinking, well, I'll be playing with Mesut Ozil, I'll be playing with Alexis Sanchez, I'll be going into a big club. So, you know, but is he worth that sort of price tag? Is he what Arsenal need? Can he also do a dual role? Could he cover in that centre-back position as well? These are all questions that Arsene and Arsene Wenger are going to be asking over the next couple of weeks before they consider signing him, because, as I said, £25 million is a huge price tag to pay for a player that is still quite unproven. He's not even a regular in the Portuguese team, remember. So this is what Arsene Wenger is going to have to think about. It could be a gamble, but we definitely need to get a holding midfielder. That's what every Arsenal fan definitely knows. The other player at the moment that we're, again, defensive midfielder, who we've been very heavily linked to, and that is Krystian Bielik, or however you want to pronounce it. We've been talking about him as well for days. He's a Polish player, plays for Legia Warsaw. He's only 17, he's a youngster, but there seems to be a two-way battle going on at the moment between Arsenal and Hamburg for this player. Hamburg, pretty confident that they could get him. They've invited him along to their ground, apparently he's been over there. And, you know, they're making strong moves to try and get Bielik. But we've been told today that Arsene Wenger has dispatched Dick Law, who is the Arsenal sort of fixer, the Arsenal guy that goes over and, you know, gets a lot of these transfers over the line. And he apparently has gone over to Legia Warsaw to try and get this deal done. So it looks like Arsenal definitely very keen on him. It may boil down to him choosing where he's going to go. Is it going to be Hamburg, or is it going to be Arsenal? Does he want to play probably more regular football by playing at Hamburg? or would he like to come to Arsenal and, you know, really make a massive name for himself if he can burst into the first team at Arsenal? But definitely he's at the moment is considering that, and that is one that we'll probably find out how close that's going to be over the next week or so. But apparently Dick Law going over to there to try and get that deal over the line. Player being linked today is a player, he's a goalkeeper, this player. He goes by the name of Mattia Perin. If you follow Italian football, you know about him. He plays for Genoa. Very, very good goalkeeper, 22 years of age, already sort of broken into the Italian team, and they rate him very highly over there. Now, we know that Arsenal taking a close look at Loris Karius, the goalkeeper from Mainz in Germany in the Bundesliga, but apparently he's decided that when his contract finishes, he's going to go and join Borussia Dortmund. So we're being told today that Arsenal have turned their attentions to Mattia Perin from Genoa, that they're very interested in signing him, and they're having a close look at him. Again, I don't know, I'm not sure about this. It's all on this Wojciech Szczesny thing, because it's going to boil down to, does Arsene Wenger see Szczesny as his long-term, you know, goalkeeper? Is this just a temporary punishment for Szczesny because of, you know, that his horrific display at Stoke, and then is it in discipline afterwards, is smoking and not seeming to, you know, care for what he produced that day? And Arsene Wenger definitely punished him last week. No matter what Wenger says, he definitely punished him by leaving him out. And will Ospina come in? Remember, Ospina's a Colombian international, played at the World Cup. He's a top keeper. Will Ospina come in and replace Szczesny? Do we need to go out and get somebody like this? And again, you look at it, Perin, he's a young keeper. Surely if Arsenal were looking at bringing in another keeper to replace Szczesny, it would be more an experienced keeper rather than going for another youngster, surely. But I don't know, I get the feeling that they will stick with Szczesny for now. I even kind of get the feeling that Szczesny might be back in goal for the Manchester City game this weekend. But Perin being linked with a move to Arsenal today. And one final one to tell you about, this is about a player that looks like he's going to be on his way out of Arsenal, only really on a temporary basis, probably going to be on a loan, and that's Yaya Sanogo. It's sort of been a two-way fight on this one between Hull City and Crystal Palace as to who will sign Yaya Sanogo, but it's starting to look that it's going to be Crystal Palace. Probably Arsene Wenger's looked on it and thought, you know what, I like Crystal Palace's sort of style of play. It's very sort of pacey, the way in which they, you know, play Palace, and he might be looking at it and thinking, you know, that really sort of will be good for Yaya Sanogo to go out there on loan. And, you know, he's very, very raw at the moment, Yaya Sanogo. You know, you see him come on for Arsenal. He's very quick. He's very fast. He's very willing, but he's very, very raw at the moment. And, you know, to get the best out of players, sometimes you have to send them out on loan. And, you know, I think a loan move might be brilliant for Yaya Sanogo. He might be able to go out there, express himself, and then Arsenal could bring him back at the end of that loan and assimilate him into the team. But Yaya Sanogo at the moment looks like he's going to be heading to Crystal Palace. Let's take a look what you guys have been saying about some of the players being linked today. And it's a really funny comments, actually. But there's a lot of people asking about what's happened to Lars Bender. Atta Gang Thomas is saying, you know, what's happened to Lars Bender? Very true. There's some others as well here. Quite a few of you actually asking, you know, the Lars Bender link that we was all at one time here. And Thomas Vorel as well, he asked, what happened to Lars Bender? I think he's the type of player we need. Doesn't look like we're moving for Lars Bender at all at the moment, and he looks like he's completely off of the radar. But yeah, at one time he was considered to sort of be the answer, you know, the player that could come in and really be that holding midfielder that Arsenal need, but that's gone really, really quiet. Arsenal 94 says William Carvalho is a gifted distributor, but also a capable destroyer. In a team like Arsenal, we need players in the midfield who can play the ball and not just hoof it clear. He's raw but talented. I don't know if how much he's seen him play, but that's what he says on William Carvalho. But then Liner 986 says William Carvalho is a slow player, and he seems more like an interceptor guy rather than a strong tackler. Let's see what else we've got here. Oz Santwick says Wenger doesn't gamble, Robbie. That's the point. And that is kind of true. He doesn't always gamble on players. He likes to know that he's going to get his value for money for a player. And that's what I'm saying with the 25 million pounds we've been told for Carvalho. That is a lot of money for an unproven player. But sometimes, as we all keep saying on this show, you got to pay over the odds for what you need. Ed Cam says, we do not need Carvalho. We got Coquelin, and we should spend the money on Cavani. Now, Coquelin, remember, he's had 4 decent games. Let's be fair to him. He's been excellent in those 4 games. There was big things fought for Coquelin. You know, he's come up through the youth team with all Jack Wilshere and those guys, and it's, you know, they really rated him, but he just kind of fell off. But since he's come back off of that loan for Charlton, you can't fault his displays. Is he the long-term answer? I don't know. I don't know. We need to see more of him, but so far he's looked decent. Billy Hammond Music says, have to say, Coquelin has performed well recently. I say channel more funds, he says, into a world-class centre-back and give Coquelin an extended run. Don't get me wrong, Coquelin is not a title-winning player, but he seems he says, but he deserves an extended run. Don't forget, we also have Flamini and Arteta, so we're talking about possibly having 4 defensive midfielders if we sign one in January, and that's very true. Boxing Brendan says we need Varane and Wanyama. But that's a good point that he makes about Coquelin. We've got Coquelin, you've got Arteta to come back, you've got Flamini. Remember, Arteta is the club captain, and you know that Arsene Wenger is a very loyal guy. So, you know, Arteta's going to be in the picture. Both of those players, by the way, will probably be out of contract at the end of the season, Flamini and Arteta. So that might be the time when he decides to bring in that defensive midfielder player. But I don't know, Coquelin coming in and putting in those 4 excellent performances, I think has really given Arsene Wenger something to think about. And it's going to be really interesting if Coquelin does start on Sunday against Manchester City. If he has a big performance, say, in that game up against, you know, their excellent midfield, the excellent midfield that Manchester City has. If Coquelin was to play in that game and put in a big performance, it may be that Arsene Wenger might say, well, yeah, you know what? Maybe we don't need to get anybody at the moment. Let's persist with this guy until the end of the season. Let's see, but Carvalho definitely interested in coming to England. Will Arsenal make his dreams come true? That's what we're going to have to find out. Thanks for watching Transfer Daily today. Don't forget, we will be back tomorrow with some more transfer rumours right here on Arsenal Fan TV.